prowling at night once again for retro video games. This here is Goi Saitama, and there's another Surugaya. Let's go ahead and head inside. I was last here about 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to speed up the footage, and you're going to see how deep things go. But when I was here last, I wasn't really impressed with the pricing. But during this time, 2 weeks later, they lowered the prices on a few games that I was after, surprisingly. Anyhow, let's start at the showcase. You know how we do it. Metal Gear Solid, Peace Walker for the PSP, 30,000, and there's some notes there. There's some issues. Now, we're going to fix the screen flicker here in a sec. Stand by. But look at this little wireless-looking adapter for the WonderSwan. 12,400 yen. That's a pricey one. And I have no idea what the heck that thing does. 19,000 for the Saturn. 29,000 for the Orange Spice. And 6,640 for the 3DO mouse. Now, some of these prices, I would say, you could definitely find them for less elsewhere, certainly. But this is what it is, and we're gonna keep digging, because again, some of you fine with the pricing. Maybe you're gonna trade in some things. 28,400 for the purple DS, and that's just how it goes in the game of game collecting. 30,000 for that Zelda DS and a whole bunch of portables. I think I'm pretty good with my portable collecting with hardware at the moment. Although I'm not going to lie, I kind of do want a Game Boy Micro, but 37,100 yen and 31,000 for the Game Boy DMG. Tread carefully, man. Tread carefully. What else do we have? We got a FZ10 Panasonic for 20,000. I have an FZ1 and I'm good with that. Now the CD-ROM unit, combo unit, 25,900 yen, next to the freaking N64 disk drive, 548,000. It does include the N64. It better. And that's one that I've seen it many times throughout the years, and it's not, for me personally, I guess it's okay. Not something that I really care for, but always nice to see. I'll say that. We got an Xbox 360 Elite. We got a PC Engine for 16,716. Next to that was the wireless controller for 17,000, and that's currently what I'm using when I'm freaking playing some PC Engine. I do like that wireless controller, by the way. The best wireless controller, though, first party, is going to be the Sega Saturn ones, though. 21,400 for the Sega Dreamcast. We got a Battlefront PS4 Pro for 27, and then the OG Xbox for 33,800 yen. Anyhow, let's just keep digging through here. Let's not be deterred. Look at this Curry Coco game. Splatterhouse, 10,200 for the old PS3. That's the North American edition, and I was the only one that reserved that game at my local GameStop many years ago. Yu Suzuki's GameWorks, 17,200 yen. Now here they have Raiden Fighters Aces, 12,000. That's going to be getting a new release in a remix collection. There's Sekiro for 9,000. Now the big one for me personally is Outrun 2 for the Xbox for 16,100 yen. That's the first print run edition. And a surprising find, 9,600 for the Legend of Zelda collection for the GameCube. Now, this is the North American release, and I'm not really sure what the price of that is going in the States, but 9,600 yen at the Surugaya in Goi Saitama. There's Alien Soldier for 110,000. Next to that is Aladdin for 8,000. That's one that I've been wanting for quite some time, and we're going to see more on that a little bit later in this episode. Sonic and Knuckles, 44,000. Ghostbusters for 10,000, 7540 for Virtua Fighter 2. I was playing that on the Sega Genesis collection on the Switch, and or on one of those collections. I can't remember which one exactly. Maybe it was on the PSP, but I had a good time with that one. Pretty fun. And then Sonic Knight, or freaking no, I'm mixing up my words. Rocket Knight. Come on, man, let's get with it. We got Wampaku Graffiti for 11,700 yen. But that Rocket Knight Adventures, they had two copies, with one of them being a bit sun-faded and the other one missing the manual. Now, I picked up a copy at the Surugaya in Yokohama for about, what was it, like 6,000, 7,000, something like that? But it was missing the manual, but still, not a bad price. 15,100 yen for Outlander there. And then we have World Heroes 2 Jet, 13,000. 13,000 for the old AES. We got some PC games. And there's going to be a few games that I miss in here. Like they had Bangai-O for the freaking Dreamcast. And for some reason I didn't film it. I don't know why. But here we got Super Aleste, 24,900 yen next to Area 88 for 9,900 yen. Freaking Turtles in Time for 40,600 yen. And a lot of these games I have seen at other shops, you know, like whether it be in, at the moment because of work, I'm usually just like in Saitama and Chiba, but some of the shops in Chiba will have these games for about 50% less. But here we go. Cotton 100%. 42,800 yen. The one at 25,700 yen I think is missing the little mini sampler CD, but man, that's a premium. That's a jump. And then we got some Famicom games. What the heck is that? 20,500 yen. Mighty Final Fight for 20,800 yen. Metal Gear with old Kyle Reese on the cover for 21,300 yen. And then we got some Star Wars action for 28,400. Again, you know, this is like the most expensive stuff that they have in the store. It's going to be in the showcase. We will see more affordable games in the stacks, believe me. We got 19,600 for Alien Syndrome. Beautiful cover to that one. We got Metroid 2, The Return of Samus for 31,100 yen. I bought a copy of that earlier in the year, but I settled on a loose cart for 2,000 yen. Huge freaking difference, man. We got Final Mission, 32,600 yen. I do like that cover. I like it a lot. What else do we have? The Destiny Knight. Some Traveler's Tale 2. 22,400 yen. That's a cool cover. Look at the dude. He's like praising the sun almost. We got Gunstar, Super Gunstar Heroes, 13,700 yen. And then there's a Godzilla game there for 19,250 there for like the GBA. Then what the heck is that game with the pig? Hudson Soft. That's interesting. Interesting indeed. And then Double Dragon, 34,600 yen and 45,600 for freaking Ninja Gaiden on the Game Boy. We got Download for 16,000 and then Rockman for 168,000. Above that, I forget the name of that game, but it's 183,000 with the dude with three eyes. And then The Last Blade for 13,600 yen on the old Neo Geo Pocket. I do want a copy of that. But that game's a freaking premium. Now, Outrun 2. I was seriously considering it, but severely sun-faded, unfortunately. Here we have Reincarnation, Dodonpachi, Daioju, whatever the heck, 15,000. Sonic 3 for 9,600 yen. And then freaking Gunstar Heroes. 2 copies. 2 copies. What else do we have here? Groove on Fight, 12,900 yen. I do want a copy of that as well. And that's actually a little lower than what I typically see by like 1,000 yen. 59,900 yen for Steam Hearts. And then Cross Swords for 11,800. And Primal Rage, 11,000, man. I haven't played Primal Rage in years. I don't know. I don't even remember if it was any good, but anyhow. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stacks. Let's take a little break from the premium stuff and see what kind of Xbox goodies they have. Battle Fantasia, great game, fairly common, 1,390, and then Binary Domain for 690. That's an excellent game. Also available on PC and PS3. And then what do we have here? Ketsui Kizuna Jigoku Tachi for 3410, a cave shooter. I believe that one saw a re-release on the PlayStation 4. And then here we have Otomedius G, or Gorgeous, for 4520. I don't know much about this one, but it's a shooting game, as it says there. And it seems to be within the same vein as like the Parodius games. And they had 2 copies. Look at that. I think they also had that one at the Momotaro Kingdom. out in Kisarazu, which on the other side of Goi Station, they have another Momotaro Kingdom. So this place is like a little hotbed of Surugaya shops. And that was the old orange box, a masterpiece of a collection. What else do we have here? Xbox One, look at that. Designated to the very bottom. Not a whole lot. What a shame. Metal Slug 3, last time I was here, this was priced at $7,500, so that did see a slightly lowered price, but at the Surugaya and Sudanuma and Chiba, they had a copy for about $5,000 and some change. And look at the beautiful cover. Silent Hill 2, The Last Poem, $40.70. I have a copy of this as well as the North American version. Freaking love Silent Hill 2. And the Japanese version, full English language options. Here we have ESP Galuda 2, the black label with the faceplate. And then Panzer Dragoon Orta for 28 and some change. We got Double Steel for $13.90. Dino Crisis 3 with its crazy story. Freaking dinosaurs out in space. You got to give it up to them, man. $32.70 there for a cave shooter. Another Dodonpachi. And this Thousand Land. I don't know what the heck this is about. I don't think I've seen that one before. We have Jet Set Radio Future for $16.50. Typically that one is coming in at $3,000. And I kind of wanted it, but I had a North American copy of it. Or I brought it with me. Here we have Spike Out Battle Street. They also had that in the showcase. But not a bad selection of Xbox games overall, with a few affordable options. And as you can see, there's a bit to see here. Let's start with the old Sega Saturn. They're gonna have a lot of stuff like freaking Wing Arms. I do like that. This game, Wing Arms, 820 yen. I used to have that, a North American version of that. Now I just have the Japanese copy. But we got Burning Fight, Overdrive, or Need for Speed. Now that copy of Need for Speed, I think it's the only one where you can disable the HUD, and that's the way to play that game, man. Although the 3DO version is a little bit more refined, more polished. And then here we have Daedalus for $580. I used to have that, and it was a little bit boring. Savaki 2820. Now, 1998, so it's kind of a late release. A 3D fighter. I'm a bit curious about that, as I do love the fighting games from this generation. $861 for freaking Cyberbots. That's like the lowest price I've seen in a long time. Gale Racer for $660. Clockwork Knight there. And then Gradius Deluxe Pack for $3,000. Those games have seen a decrease in price, most likely because of the Gradius collection that was recently released on the Switch and the PlayStation 4. We got Last Bronx for $13.90. And I don't know what the heck. 6810. Now this one looks like it's like a Load Runner, not really, like Bomberman. Some kind of puzzle game. Hat-Trick Hero S for $22.80. Fantasy Zone for $24.80. So, you know, within the stacks, there's some reasonably priced games. And like this, what do we have? Burning Rangers, $36.30. That game used to be more like a couple years ago, like around the $6,000 range. So that's another one. Necronomicon. That's a pinball game for $14.50. But yeah, not a bad selection of Sega Saturn games. Some decent pricing in there. Let's see how the old PC Engine fares. We have Ordine for $31.70. Now this one is also available as part of Hamster's Arcade Archives, as well as on the Namco collections for the PlayStation 1. Here we have Final Zone 2 for $46.70. Now this one has recently been re-released on the Nintendo Switch as part of a compilation of games. I can't remember the other 3 games included in that collection, but Final Zone 2 is one of them. And what do we have here? We got Sidearms Special for 1,800 yen. They had another copy for 2,700 yen. The cheaper one was kind of sun-faded. Here we have Ballast 3 and 1,500 yen. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And again, all the Valis games have been re-released on modern platforms. We got some Dragon Knight 2. Have no idea what the heck that's about. And this one, what is this? Cyber Shockman Citizen, something like that. 3680. Shabu Shabu Man. I can't remember the name. But here we have Psycho Chaser. 5810. That's a fun game. Salamander. 4690. some Space Harrier. So again, 1640 for Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. And then here we have like a Far East of Eden Kabuki Warrior, a fighting game. There's also another fighting game available on the AES. You got Tiger Heli for 2780 or Kikoku Tiger columns. So again, pretty solid selection of PC Engine games, and some of them are, fairly affordable. I think with the PC Engine, the biggest barrier to entry is actually getting the freaking hardware. 4280 for the Legendary Axe, which is based off of Astion Axe, which is on the Arcade Archives on the freaking Switch. I have a copy of that game. What do we have here? The House of the Dead 2 for 6,000 and some change. KOF 99 for 1,500. They have they had an excellent selection of Dreamcast fighting games here at reasonable prices. 5170 for Gigawing. I have Gigawing. I have that on the old Capcom collection on the Switch. Confidential Mission. I want a copy of that. 3050. But unfortunately, it's missing like the actual white plastic part. They switched that out. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They had that in the showcase. They had the one for matchmaking, the online one. But look at this. 2860 Daytona USA. Excellent game. And it plays best with the steering wheel. And then Tech Romancer 6650. This one I was thinking about. I don't have this one. I used to have a North American copy of the game like freaking back in 2003 or 2002. Great game. Had a blast playing it. Fighting Vipers 2, 2660. I have a copy of this, but no freaking Obi card. Oh well, let's keep digging here. Let's keep digging. Project Justice, freaking Rival Schools, Marvel vs. Capcom, Poppin' Music. But Marvel vs. Capcom 1670. And they had part 2, 2550. Although I believe the Japanese version, it's a bit more difficult to unlock all the characters unless you have a way to transfer from like an online save. But anyhow, Sega Mega Drive Hellfire. And then look at this, Aladdin 3930. I picked this up. It included the manual too. And the spine, a small tinge of sun fading. Fire Mustang 7410. It's a pretty fun game. I have a copy of that. They got all the Sonics. Well, 2 of them. 3 of them. I think they're missing the first entry. Then we have Garo 2550. Now Garo Part 2 on the Sega Mega Drive. That's the pricey one. Here's Crackdown 2,700 yen. I don't know much about this one. Looks like a top down. I don't know if it's a run and gun or what the heck, but Eternal Champions 8210. I kind of want to replay that. Didn't it also see like a Sega CD release? But Bare Knuckle 2 6230. That's not bad. Got some Whip Rush coming in at 4,000. Another copy of Garo, and then here we have Atomic Robo Kid 5418. Visually this game looks good. I've never played it. But I also hear that it's a bit bland and dull, but I kind of do want to try it. And maybe, going with the arcade Hamsters Arcade Archives release, maybe that's the way to go. Here we have some Master System games. It's always nice seeing these early Sega games. I'm not collecting for the Master System, honestly, but the one game that kind of makes me rethink that is freaking R-Type. 590 for the Space Mutant puzzle game by Warp. Crash and Burn 890. I picked that up. That's the lowest price that I've seen in a long time. And it was crazy playing that game because I have like this second-hand nostalgia. I also picked up this copy of Gex, which was also freaking wild. Freaking 3DO, man. Playing that, like growing up, I would see it in the magazines. There was a few kids in town, in my hometown, that had a freaking 3DO. I never played it, but it was just interesting seeing it in Next Generation magazine. Then now, like how many years later, freaking playing Crash and Burn. It's pretty wild. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna take my time with playing both of those. As a matter of fact, I beat the first world in Gex already. That's a ton of levels in that game, but it's not freaking hard. World Heroes 2, 8,500 yen on the AES. I do like that. I like World Heroes 2 more than Jet. Freaking World Heroes 2, man. We got some Mega CD titles with Robo Alest. Or what is it? Nobunaga's Ninja Force. Sylphie, look at that. 1180. Come on, man. That's not expensive. What do we have? Samurai Showdown on the Pocket. 9,800 yen. Not far from here, there's a book off that had a loose copy with the manual for about half that price. Not sure what the heck this is. Some kind of RPG game. I think, anyway. Neo Geo CD titles. We got Viewpoint 8170. Now that one you could still find for about 5,000 if you look. We got Double Dragon 7370. And I used to have this game. What the heck was it called? 6510 there for the Last Blade. Puzzle Bobble 5230. I was kind of thinking about that one, but nah, look at that. Here we go. What else do we have? 2940 KOF 96. I want a copy of that. With the actual game. Not that fan disc business. What else? We got Samurai Show 880. 880. So there's a few of them that are fairly inexpensive. 2690 for Garou Special. Beautiful cover. 6620 for what the heck is that name? I'm freaking forgetting. Anyway, let's just keep it moving. Keep it moving, y'all. Star Wars Arcade 7110. Space Harrier for 7070. What else? And then Cool Jam. What's that? A WonderSwan game? PC games. I almost said PC Engine. Dragon's Cloth. The heck could that be about? Anyhow, they had like a freaking huge GameCube keyboard that I just noticed just now. 12,200 for the Dreamcast. Now, here we have the ASCII stick for the PC Engine. 7,000 in the box. Look at that beautiful box. Unfortunately, the stick... I used to own that stick, and it's not very good. I got rid of it. But, you know, having a joystick for the PC Engine that would be a nice thing. Especially with so many shooters. And lately, I kind of do prefer playing, like, even, like, action platformers with a joystick. I don't know. Here we have the... What is this? The broadband unit. 6,500 for the old PS2. That's a bit of a rare piece of hardware. I don't often see that one. And with with these junk stacks, this is where you're gonna see inventory and stock like changing the most. Freaking Wii U over 10,000 in the box. For a while, those were just averaging like at about 2,000 yen. I guess they're in vogue now. We got some Famicom games. Look at that Akumajo Dracula, 28,800 yen next to freaking Bonk. Bucky O'Hare for 17,453 yen. So they got some heavy hitters in this case. That Akumajo Dracula in the cart, that one can be sometimes just for the cart. It could be like above like the 30,000 range. And if you get that complete in the box, man, you're looking at 70. And there is minor differences between that one and the disc. The Famicom disc version. Here we have some Kenshin fighting game. I have one of them, but I don't think it's that one. It better not be that one. Otherwise, my memory is failing me. We got Patapon 2, 990. What else do we have? Let's go to the PS Vita. Now, we're just going to be glancing over this stuff because, the PSP, the PS Vita, excellent handhelds, with the PSP being my favorite handheld of all time, but there wasn't much, Now here, you're going to see a couple holes in the stacks, but don't be fooled, man, because they had some pretty good stuff. Spriggan Lunarverse by From Software. This looks like an action game. It could be good. What's the price? $14.56. And all the Street Fighter stuff, that's certified gold, man. Even this, Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha. And then we have the movie game. Well, I don't know about this one. $32.50. Although I shouldn't say anything because I haven't played it, but I don't know. I think they're making a new Street Fighter movie. I'll probably watch it. What do we have? Parodius 1740. It's a shooting game. 1740 is not a bad price. I'm surprised those games haven't been re-released for the old freaking Switch. Maybe it's coming. Here we have Gunner's Heaven, 8,500 yen, but don't be fooled. Somebody gutted the original back insert and put it in a standard like jewel case. Typically that one comes in a thicker one, kind of like that Proteus game that we just looked at, or the same size of case as the one in Omega Boost for 670 yen. Excellent game. But anyhow, Time Crisis, Gun Con there. Zero Divide, I like part 2. Zero Divide part 2 is freaking awesome. Here we have the Racing 1760. Some of these, the simple games are, some of them are pretty good. Very, very good. What else do we have? Dino Crisis 1 and 2. Choaniki 6540 or Super Big Bro. That's kind of a strange game. Destruction Derby 750. Toshinden 560. 250 for Tobal number 1. And they had a couple copies. 710 for Toshinden 3. So as you can see, there's some deals here, man. Don't just judge it from the showcase. 1,300 there for Vampire or Darkstalkers. And look at the beautiful cover. Metal Slug X 2810. I'm looking for part 5 still. Freaking Metal Slug, man. And then Fighter's Impact by Taito 2780. I do have a copy of that. Something about that generation of fighting games. They're so clunky, clumsy, but they're charming in a way. I do like those games. Freaking PS2. We got Kessen 3 there. What's the damage on Kessen 3? 490. I believe that was like a launch game, part 1 for the PS2. Very early game. Battlefront. Look at that. Battlefront. And they're still making those Battlefront games. A lot of fighting games on the PS2. Let's take a look at some of these handheld games. We got World Heroes 2 Jet on the Game Boy, 2,400 yen. Takara made excellent conversions on the Game Boy. I don't know if they were the developer or just the publisher, but the games under their branding, excellent, man. Look how deep that goes. Anyhow, PlayStation 2, a lot of fighting games. 2390 there for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, although that one's not as good as the Dreamcast one. We got Rockman Dash 1 and 2, the value pack, and R-Type Final for 3,000 and some change. That Rockman Dash, those play in widescreen. I wonder how those are, those ports. Metal Slug 5, but unfortunately 4,100 yen. I want to pay half that price, so I didn't get it. Then Melty Blood, look at that, a double pack. I don't think I've seen that one. What else do we have here? Bloody Roar 3 for 1840. Look at that beautiful cover. I wonder how that game is. I have part 1, and to be honest, I wasn't really feeling part 1, but I'm not going to give up on the series just yet. And I'm going to keep part 1 just because it's one of those early 3D fighters that I love to collect. We got Dragon's Crown for 690. Now that one does have English voice options. Now 1280 for Demon Souls. Before, and I think you can still find it, but before it was at 100 yen, and I think you can still find it at that price. We got some PlayStation 4 games. We got Metal Gear Survive. Look at that, 840. I'm kind of curious about that game, but I think it might be online only. And guys, I don't play games online. It's been years. I'm retired from the online scene. Retired. There's no time. I'm out here after work hunting for more. Don't have time to go online. Dragon's Dogma 2, I want to play that. Death Stranding, one day I'll play that. I haven't played those games yet. Let's have a brief look at Famicom and Super Famicom. We got Rockman 5 and 4. What's the damage on part 5? 7,060 yen. We got Wario's Woods. Look at the vintage on this. 1994. I believe this was like the last major Nintendo release on the old Famicom, but 1994, man. Amazing. Final Fantasy 9546. And what else do we have? Super Mario Bros. 3 3540. 2 copies. And look at the price on these. 9,010. Super Mario Bros, man. I decided for now Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm playing it on the Game Boy Advance, having a great time. And I love the enhancements that they did on the game. But 3540, that's not too bad, but I'd rather pay 2,000, man. I think that's exactly what I paid for my GBA version of the game. Out in a Super Book Off Bazaar in Osaka. What else? We got some Super Famicom. Honestly, I didn't see anything that really called out to my attention for the Super Famicom stuff. But, they had a lot of the common Capcom games. They had Kirby 3 here for $87.90. Final Fight for $43.22. This one seems kind of interesting. I don't know what the heck. This seems like a Bomberman type of clone for $69.30. Look at that. I've never seen that one before. And the freaking puzzle genre, that's one that I've been getting into more and more recently because it's just pure gameplay, man. Keeps you on your toes. That was Brainlord there. That did see a North American release. And I think I might prefer the North American cover art. The freaking castle in the sky. That never gets old, man. Let's take a look. Let's keep going. This is like the last aisle of the stacks here. We got some Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games. What do we got? Some Rockman Battle Network. There was Mario Kart there. Freaking love that Mario Kart game on the Advance. But here we go. $35.90 for Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario Advance 2. That naming scheme gets so confusing. The F-Zero games. For a while, one of these F-Zero games, I'm not sure which one, but I don't think it's, maybe this one. 6,900 yen. For a while, that one was like trending over like 10,000. It got pretty high for a moment. But now it's back down to a more reasonable 6,900 yen. Here's F-Zero X. This is a pretty fun one on the N64. 3,600 yen. I haven't purchased the N64 game in quite some time, and I don't really see myself purchasing anymore. As a matter of fact, I was contemplating just offloading the N64, but there is, there's a handful of games that hard to let go, man. Like that freaking Star Fox, man, one of my all-time favorite rail shooters. And as a matter of fact, that one and Castlevania 64, those two games are the ones that are really holding it down for the N64. What do we have? Super Mario Sunshine, PN number 3, and all the Biohazard games. Well, 3 of them. And then F-Zero GX. I do want this on the Cube. $49.30. Yeah, I want to get that one. Metroid Prime. This is the North American release, but I don't know. Something's going on here. 3,486. It's missing. I think it's just the box. We got the Twin Snakes. What's the price on this other copy? Yeah, same price. $66.40. Full English language options. We got Metroid Prime, the Japanese version, for $39.50. And then 9,100 yen for Biohazard 2, Part 3 at 8,100, and then Biohazard for 930. There was another North American game there, some Star Wars action. Here we got some Suda 51. Look at that Hoppers edition of No More Heroes 2. No More Heroes, man. What do you guys think about that series? It was okay. This game is pretty fun. A bunch of little mini games, like trying to impress the chick, the girl. I don't know what the heck this is. The DS, man. So many games. So many excellent games like this Biohazard Deadly Silence for $14.80. Highly recommend that one. It's so good. Tekken 3D Prime, $44.20. I haven't played that one. I'm definitely curious. I do love those 3D fighters on the 3DS, which Dead or Alive Dimensions, highly recommended. And the Japanese version does have full English language options, but it is region locked. And I don't know what the heck. This is the Peach game. I wonder how this one was. Was it any good? I don't know. And I'll never know. Gradius 2, $17.20. That was actually just the manual. $20.70 for Mortal Kombat 2. And then what the heck is that? Tails something Patrol. That looked like the North American edition. Gradius 2, the actual game, for $37.10. And there we go. Ninja Gaiden, 5,600. I have that game, and I paid like 1,000 yen or something like that. That one just kind of jumped in price. It was kind of crazy. Knights of the Round, 5,300 next to Phalanx. Bubsy, look at that. I rented that game many years ago. Kiki Kai Kai, the Black Mantle. And yeah, let's see. But this is what I walked away with, man. Freaking Aladdin, Gex, and Crash and Burn. I did want a copy of this Waku Waku 7, or I wanted that game, but I don't want to pay that price. And it's all good. Sometimes patience, guys. Patience. Just like the Gunner song. And there's this fighting game, 6330 by Data East. That's another one that I think I'll never play. Here we have Toshinden S and King the Spirits. Macross, Do You Remember Love? That's a great game. Tetris Plus, I highly recommend this one. Excellent music, addictive gameplay, 1,720. I think the PS1 version is going to be far cheaper, but freaking Saturn, man. 2D powerhouse. We got Daytona USA Circuit Edition for 700 and some change, 1,270 there for Deep Fear. Again, there's reasonably priced games, and very good games at that. And then I wanted to take another look at Jet Set Radio Future. 1650, man. 1650. But nah. KOF Impact 2950. That's a fun game. I have to admit, that's a very fun game. And then we have Otogi 2, 2,700 yen. And Part 1 for 1,410. I used to have both of those. But I don't know. They really didn't do it for me. Here we have Ashley Riot. Look at that Vagrant Story. 6,100 yen for that. Strategy guide, Biohazard. Now, this is like the manga, I think. Super Mario Bros. 3, 2,100 yen. Look at the funky cover. Our Princess Peach was looking funny. Looking loony there. Now, in Kisarazu, the freaking strategy guides were far, far less expensive, and they had a lot more. Apparently, that store hasn't been open for more than like 2 months, so it's fairly new. I didn't know that, but this area of Chiba, I highly recommend it. I mean, Goi Station has this Surugaya, the Tatsuya. It has Momotaro Kingdom Surugaya. It has a Geo, and who knows what else in between. And then a couple stations down, there's a hard off at Nagaura Station. And then, you're going to hit Kisarazu, which has another Surugaya, another Momotaro Kingdom. And then down the way in Kimitsu, there's an Echo Town. And in between all that, there's 2 more hard offs and a book off. 2 book offs. So there's plenty to see down here. Now, as for me, I'm still going to be in Chiba, but I think it's high time we head to the east side of Chiba. But we'll see. Look at this old train. But it was a long day of work, and it felt good to do some game hunting. But stay tuned for more. More is coming. That's how we do it around here. Ciao.